Hi, welcome to Table Read, the show where I, Aloney, armed with the power of pure cringe, painstakingly craft stories for a vast, indifferent, and judgmental internet. Look away now, before you die of secondhand embarrassment. This week, I read Kingdom Hearts: The Next Generation. You have been warned. In the city of Radiant Bastion, Gale, Ash, and Bryn, the children of famous Final Fantasy couples, discover they are Keyblade wielders. Their city is destroyed and their parents turned into monsters. Now they must travel across the Disney multiverse 20 years after the events of each series to find the Keyblade Masters and save the world from the unity of heartless nobodies and the unversed. Gale is sleeping in her childhood home as we hear her voice. A scattered dream that's like a far-off memory. A far-off memory that's like a scattered dream. I want to line the pieces up. Yours and mine. A musical intro plays as our three heroes are introduced in a montage. Gale, the daughter of Renoa Hartley and Squall Leonhart, floats through the sky of Radiant Bastion, a clockwork city surrounded in ice, as lights and shadows fly past her. On the ground watching her is her two best friends, the child of Cloud, Bryn, and the son of Zack and Aerith, Ash. As she locks eyes with them, darkness surrounds her and she begins to fall from the sky, grabbing at the air as she's falling into an ocean of darkness where the ice used to be. Drowning below the water, she closes her eyes and floats onto a giant stained glass platform. She opens her eyes and looks down at her feet. Printed on the stained glass is an image of her parents and her two best friends. She stares confused. The stained glass cracks and shifts. As her father's image shatters, she stands shocked until she hears a voice behind her. Renoa Hartley, her mother, speaks to her. "I wish we would have prepared you for this." In that moment, she stares into her daughter's eyes. "Choose one." Suddenly, three weapons appear before Gale. A staff, a shield, and a sword. Gale grabs the sword and walks up to her mother. Is this a dream? Is this real? Her mother looks at her. Does it matter? Suddenly, a dark shadow appears behind her and pulls her soul from her body. Renoa splits into two people, one made of darkness and one a shallow husk of a person with no soul. The shadow speaks. "I am heartless." The silvery, empty shade speaks. "I am nobody." They both say in unison, "Open the door. Open the door." Gale wakes in a sweat, confused and scared. Later, while they walk through the alleyways of Radiant Bastion, Gale and Bryn speak with one another. "That sounds like an insane nightmare." "I know. What do you think it means?" "Well, normally listening to someone's dreams sucks, but that was crazy. It reminds me of all those old war stories our parents would talk about." "Do you really think those are real?" "I don't know. I used to think they were just bedtime stories. I mean, other worlds, mermaids that sing, street rats with magic lamps, a coliseum of gods. That's all kid stuff." On a stoop overlooking a large hill of roads and buildings, a boy named Ash yells, "It's real! Other worlds, pirates, monsters, magic, it's all out there. How long have you been waiting for us?" "For a while. You're both always late." The three of them sit on the stoop and look at the massive city of Radiant Bastion. Gale was freaking out about this dream. Heartless shadows and soulless husks and stuff. It's pretty cool. "Yeah, I remember those stories. Secret group of creepy robed guys. A mouse with a big key. It's hard to figure out which of the stuff was real and what our parents lied about. Bedtime stories and all that. I get the feeling there's more they're not telling us." As the three of them are speaking, they are interrupted by a scream in the distance. They run to help. seeing terrifying shadows and husks of light ransacking the city, working together to pull people into shadows as they vanish. The kids run at full speed away, trying to escape the waves of creatures flooding the city. They run down the alley from earlier. Gale is blocked by a group of Heartless. She turns back to see her friends behind her at the other end of the alley, blocked by a group of nobodies. They are trapped, surrounded by monsters. A nobody grabs Bryn and pulls them back. For a moment, all seems lost as the monsters approach them. Bryn is struggling as Ash tries to pull them free, when a bright light flashes and the sound of gunfire rings in their ears. Gale is holding a massive key with the barrel of a revolver at its hilt. She is shocked that it sits in her hand. Bryn opens their hand, and a large two-handed sword with a sharp edge across the top appears in their hands. They smile as they cut down 3 nobodies. A small nobody floating off the ground charged up a blast of fire, shooting it at Bryn. Bryn flinches, and as they look up, Ash stands in front of them, a massive shield shaped like a padlock in his hands, with a short, sharp key-shaped dagger at the top. The 3 of them smile as they begin to attack Heartless and nobodies one after another. Gale shooting blasts of air, fire, lightning, and ice from her gun-shaped blade. Bryn swinging this massive sword across multiple foes with each strike. And Ash blocking attacks with his lock shield and stabbing at the weak spots with his small key-shaped dagger. Together they cut a hole through the pack at the end of the alley. As they begin to brace for a final push, the trinity of heroes stand beside each other as they each hold out their various keys. Beams of light shoot out of the tips of them, and suddenly the Heartless and nobodies fear them, fading into shadow and vanishing. Our heroes stand triumphant as they look out to see scorch marks all over the battle-scarred alleyway. Their weapons vanish into light. As they soon hear the sounds of sirens, they are locked behind bars inside a small police station. Ash screams and tries to grab a guard outside of his cage. "Do you know who I am? Let me out of here." A guard looks annoyed up from his paper. "Calm down, kid. You vandalize a street, you sit in a cage. Relax." "I'm relaxed. You relax. How dare you?" "Shut up, Ash." "What were those things? Don't you remember the stories? We're Keyblade Masters. We rule." "I think it's more complicated than that." A guard walks up clad in Final Fantasy armor. "You've been bailed out, kids. Your parents are here." 3 walk out and see down the hall Renoa Hartley and Squall Leon Hartley. Tifa, Cloud, Aerolith, and Zack all stand. They seem worried about their children. "Come on, we have something we all need to show you." At an old abandoned building in the center of town is a sign that reads, "Ansem's Heartless Research." Cloud and Zack slice open the boarded doors, and they all walk in. As they walk into the room, a large table with a painting of a stoic tanned man with silver hair stands above it. The plaque reads, "Ansem, Seeker of Darkness." The families walk into a massive room with an old computer. The screen boots up and Renoa looks at all the kids. "A long time ago, about 20 years ago, we helped a group of kids with magical swords called Keyblades save the universe from monsters. The monsters are back, and they seem stronger than before. We need to find..." Shadows appear around the trio's parents, attacking them and destroying the screen behind Renoa. Cloud yells, "Get them out of here! Now!" The parents fight against the waves of monsters, but their weapons don't damage them enough. Renoa and Squall kick open the back door. Cloud looks at Bryn. "Remember, we love you." Cloud shuts the door and bars it shut as the sounds of lights and explosions echo down the hallway. The trio look down, and they are each holding the weapons from before. Squall smiles, proud of what the kids have accomplished. He holds back the door, and the Heartless begin to ram it open. He yells to our heroes, "Go! They can save us! They can save us all!" Renoa holds out her hand, and a wall of light appears behind her and Squall. She looks at her daughter and speaks to her one last time. "Gale, you need to escape this world. We're going to hold them back, and you're going to go. There's a ship down that hall. You'll find others with weapons like you. The Keyblade Masters will teach you how to use your powers, and you will save the universe." Gale cries out to her mother. "I don't want to leave you." Renoa responds, "You have to." The shield of light shatters into hundreds of flecks of light, just like the stained glass in the dream. Renoa is swallowed by the darkness. As Ash holds back the wave of shadow, and Bryn pulls Gale back with them, they run away from the tidal wave of darkness, filling the entire city, and jump into a small ship known as the Gummy Ship, with 3 seats under a small glass dome. It rockets off as the shadows destroy the entire city. The walls collapse as the eternal blackness of space covers the glass dome above the ship. As the ship travels at an extreme speed, in the distance, a small orb that was once the world, now scarred and covered in black fog. Our 3 heroes sit, broken. Gale looks at her friends who saved her life. We're going to bring them back. We're going to find the masters, and we're going to open the door and stop these monsters. She holds out her hand. Are you with me? Her 2 friends are completely broken. Are you with me? Bryn looks angry and determined. Yes. They place their hand on the top of Gale's. Ash sits angry, tormented by the thought that he could have saved his parents. He slaps his hand down on theirs. I will save them, at any cost. The 3 of them join hands, and an orb of light appears at the center. Inside are images of different worlds from across the Disney multiverse. Our 3 heroes smile, ready for adventure. Title Slam. Kingdom Hearts, The Next Generation. The end. Wow. You listened through all of my Kingdom Hearts fanfiction. Or at least some of it. Why? Well, thanks for listening. Bye.